guys keep any of the props from the movies? Did you keep any of the props from them?
No, but I remember they gave us Back to the Future wristwatch. And I still have that. And a few delinquent slips to hand out.
And all I got was a stinking watch.
I have a yellow shirt with little trains all over it from a show that my dearest friend, whom I'm very close to, does not let me wear. She's too embarrassed.
This question is actually for both of you. Back to the Future is one of my favorite franchises, and I was wondering if you guys had any favorite franchises.
She wants to know if there's any other franchises like Star Trek, Back to the Future, that you're big fans of.
Fans of?
Yeah.
Not particularly.
Yeah, not in exactly the same way. Star Wars, I guess, a little bit. Whatever. I guess the Godfather series.
Alright. First off, I'd like to say to both of you, Christopher Lloyd and Principal Strickland. Every movie that I've seen both of you in has been wonderful, and I'd just like to say that thank you for being in the field that you are. He likes you. My question is for both of you. I know that since Christopher Lloyd was involved in the Back to the Future game first season, would you both be willing to work on a second season if they do it?
A second game?
A second season, yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Certainly, why not? Absolutely.
My question for you kind of goes back to the taxi character and for Doc Brown. Where do you get your inspiration for such a zany character?
Where did you get your inspiration for your zany taxi character?
Well, Doc was kind of a creative and innovative genius, and I could not help but think of Albert Einstein and a famous musical conductor back a while back named Leopold Stokowski. He did amazing things with classic pieces, and he was very exciting. And I had an album of his back in the late 50s, and this is, of course, back in the day of plastic records. You know. Believe me, they did exist. On the album was a profile of Leopold Stokowski. He had long, white shocking hair, and he had his baton up, and he's conducting. In the background was a whole picture of the solar system. And that image, I felt suited Doc Brown very well.
Taxi character.
Oh, Taxi. I mean, I kind of felt I understood what he was about. I understood. Never mind. But every once in a while we come back from a hiatus or a Christmas vacation, and I couldn't seem to get Reverend Jim in the groove again. I mean, I kind of lost him. And after that happened a few times, one time it happened, and my oldest brother, who was 22 years older than I, passed away a few years ago, and he was a total straight guy. Didn't smoke, didn't drink, needless to say, he didn't do any other mind-altering things. But his face, he had a certain set way with his face, and I just stick to that, and Reverend Jim would come right back. So I guess my brother had some kind of subliminal effect.
This is a question for Lloyd. Huge fan of your work, sir, and we play so many over-the-top characters like, obviously, Doc Brown, Uncle Fester, Judge Doom. Which was your favorite character of all these, and why? That you ever played?
I don't know. Each one is my favorite when I'm doing it. I must say with Uncle Fester, I grew up on Charles Adams cartoons as a kid, and Uncle Fester was one of my favorites. And I mean, like for years I followed it. Then later on, I forgot about it. Then years later, maybe decades later, I got a call to be Uncle Fester, and it was like, blew me away. I did that, this character that I had so involved with, I ended up having the privilege of playing later on. Although when I first got the offer, I didn't quite understand how it was going to work out, because I'm not very fat. I don't have a round head. But we worked it out.
This question is for both of y'all. I wanted to know what initially made y'all decide that y'all wanted to do Back to the Future.
What made you really want to do Back to the Future?
A long answer. Most of us there, actually, we were New York actors, worked in the theater in New York, and I was acting in a play on Broadway, and I had always said I'd never go into Hollywood until somebody sends for me. And I was doing a play on Broadway, and I got the call from Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. They had seen a movie I was in called Prince of the City, and they just offered me the part. And that's what brought me to LA, and then I stayed there for quite a few years, had a good time, and here we are now. Still laughing and scratching.
Well, I was eager to get any work that might come along. I remember I was doing a play. I wasn't doing a play. I was doing a movie, that has never been released in Mexico. And I got an offer to go back to New York, where I felt my roots were in the theater. I got an offer to go back and do a play, and it had a wonderful cast, and I was going to be playing Hans Christian Andersen. And I thought this is what I should be doing instead of meddling around in Hollywood, and I was going to go back to do that. And while I was shooting, I got the script. It was mailed to me from Back to the Future, and I didn't even read it. I literally chucked it in the waste bin. Literally. How insane can you be? And a friend of mine who was with me at the time knows that I'd always said that I'm never going to leave any stone unturned. Anything that comes up, you check out. And it seemed reasonable, and so I pulled it out, and I read it, and I went back and met Bob Zemeckis, and I just fell in love with it. I really love him.